there's plenty of feet.
Okay, everybody, it's now officially 7:30. Welcome to the Village of Skokie Parents Commission meeting for Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. When you checked in for your building permits, you were given instructions what we're going to be doing here today, or at least you were supposed to have been given instructions. Talking about the elevations of your projects. Some projects will have neighbors, concerned neighbors here. Those we'll take their comments into consideration where we're rendering our decisions. For anybody who is going to be testifying or coming up to speak when their case is called, or any neighbor who wants to speak, wants to do that, please stand up now and be sworn in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Great. Thank you. When I call your case, come up here to the podium. Brian will show the images up on the screen, and we'll go through that. All the commissioners here will have comments. This is live on YouTube TV, so everybody be on your best behavior. And it's also being recorded into perpetuity, so you really want to be on your best behavior. That said, anybody want to make a motion for the approval of the meeting minutes for the last, for the May meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 14th.
Anybody, all in favor?
Aye.
So passed. When I call your case, come on up here. We have 7 cases. Some are going to be fast, some are not going to be fast. Come up here. Commissioner, to my right, your left, will be reading in the comments from the village's Community Development Department. We take those into consideration also when we're rendering our opinion. Let's move forward. Case number 2025-021A at 3361 Capitol Street. It's a first floor addition.
The applicant is proposing to construct a first floor addition consisting of a living dining room and attached garage. Due to the size of the addition, a fire sprinkler will be required throughout the entire building. Staff is mostly supportive of the request. Staff is not supportive of the north elevation facing Capitol Street. 2 larger windows are being removed and being replaced 3 small awning windows. Staff is recommending additional windows and or some type of architectural element to break up what will mainly be a blank wall with street frontage.
You aware of some of those comments
Yes, I am.
about the sprinkler system and all that will have to be required?
Yes,
Okay, good.
we'll include it with part of the permit as well.
Okay.
While we're looking at the brick that you're replacing, it's all going to match on the front elevations?
The brick will match as closely as possible. I'm not sure if we can find the exact brick anymore, but
Yeah.
the brick will be painted, so it'll all look
Okay.
the same.
Yeah. Is it painted or stained?
Most likely painted.
Okay.
Let's get to the north elevation. Staff is not supportive of that, facing Capitol Street.
Bottom right. So, can I speak?
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If
That's
the
bad.
board's preference is to add additional windows, looking at the screen on the right-hand side, we can add additional large windows. That's the bedroom. To the left is a closet. Preference would not be to add windows
Mhm.
inside the closet from a security standpoint, but on the right of those clear story left and right, we can add larger windows if that's would satisfy the board's request on Capitol Street for the north side.
Is this a corner lot or something?
It is a corner lot, correct. The north and the west
Mhm.
are street facing.
Mm.
I understand the design choice in doing what they're doing, but I'm not loving that one big block.
I mean, it happens. I mean,
I know,
I don't know, does
yeah.
anybody have any exception to that? Joe?
Yeah, the
Sure.
side elevation actually, since it's going to be painted and it's going to be really dark, Another transom window might be helpful, but
Yeah.
I think the bigger issue is it's a lot of the same material on that side, and it's all black. Is there any way you can add another, like a wood material or anything somewhere on there to kind of just give it a little bit more, you know, I think that's the comment, is that that's a very plain elevation.
If the preference is to go with a different material besides windows, we can explore putting a wood or some other kind of material on there, if that's a preference outside of placing additional windows in place of that, I think.
Yeah, it would add a little different texture, and you know,
We-
since you're confined, since that's probably your primary
That's the
bedroom.
master suite there.
That is the
Yeah.
master suite,
Yeah.
that is correct.
I saw that plan.
Yeah.
So we can do that on we can explore doing that on the left side, or we can explore putting a clear story on the left side, which is the closet. That might be potentially doable as well. So either one, whichever the commission's preference would be, I think we can accommodate either solution.
What's the color of this gonna be? I'm sorry, you said it was beige.
It's a navy, it's like a
Okay.
navy grayish color.
Be nice to have
I
another
mean-
small window, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably an easier task to just add in the closet the transom windows.
Yeah, that's right, where the solid hatch is
Yeah.
approximately
Square.
where the closet is, so
Mhm.
we can add matching clear story
I would do that.
on that left side. Probably realistically wouldn't be as long due to the size of the closet, but we
Just
can
two, maybe.
maximize it. Because the bedroom does have windows on the other, egress windows
The east side.
on the other
Yeah.
elevation.
And it's north elevation, so the light won't be, you know, it'll be fine, good morning light, and
Correct.
it won't be too,
Correct.
Two windows would be, two
yeah.
little ones. would be
Okay,
good.
somebody fire away at a.
Actually,
recommendation.
I do have a question about the front entrance.
Yes.
If you go up, is there a canopy over the front door?
There's not.
Mhm. Should be.
Is that because of the setback
maybe,
requirements and
'cause
Yeah,
it
everything?
goes
the
to
preference
Kimball.
is not to. The entry door is slightly shifted down from where the existing entry door is right now.
Yeah.
The primary entrance is really going to be utilized through the garage.
Like
Versus going through the front door.
Yeah, no, it's really more the aesthetics of this elevation. I understand what you're doing, but you've got all different size windows and a door, and the door doesn't, you know, it's just proportionally, it looks,
And some of the
it's
function
kind of all over the place.
some of the function of the windows are trying to utilize some of the existing openings that are there.
Yeah.
Mainly on the left side, which is the existing family room right now. So the objective is trying to reuse it as much as possible, just because blending bricks hodgepodge in there, we're trying to minimize that as much as possible.
And is there gonna be a conflict with the basement window and the front step?
We explored it. We don't think there will be a conflict from the sidewalk to the window well. It shows it now. We've done some field verification after this, and it will fall right prior to that existing window well that's there right now.
The reason why I ask is I would really hate to see that stoop get any smaller, because that's your
Correct.
front door.
If
And
any-
with
if-
everything going on, your front door kind of fades away. So that's with no canopy and,
We might explore to give a little more room to shift the door slightly to the left. It doesn't drastically impact the plan that much,
Okay.
to give a little more
Oh.
space from that window well.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to reduce that front step.
yeah, it would look
doesn't-
really out of proportion.
Yeah.
That's all you had, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. Want to make a recommendation based on what we just talked about,
See if I can figure it out.
or a motion?
I move that a certificate of appropriateness be granted for case number 2025-021A at 3361 Capitol Street with the addition of two transom windows facing on the north elevation, the east side of the north elevation, and that provisions be made that the front door stoop does not get any smaller, whether the door moves or the window well's position is not correct on the drawings.
Okay.
Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No opposed, so passed. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Have a nice day.
Sure. Case 2025-022A at 7848 Kolmar, a new single-family residence.
The applicant is proposing to construct a new single-family home on a vacant lot. A fire sprinkler system will be required to be installed. The proposed bedroom in the basement will need to be removed because bedrooms are currently not allowed in basements. Staff has the following comments on proposed elevations. Number one, the way the siding is located on the side elevations, it makes it look like that portion of the building is an addition that was added on to an existing house. Number two, staff has no objections to the rear elevation being siding. 3, consider adding an element or architectural feature in the blank space on the front elevation above the front door. And 4, clarify if there is a proposed canopy above the front door and what materials are being used in this area.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Okay, you did resend in revisions. I'll pass those. I was able to piece a few of them together too, so.
I have one for you.
Does this address all 4 points, or?
That I'm not sure.
Did you get one, Jill?
I can. Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, what's different here? Is there a canopy, isn't there a canopy?
Yes, there is a canopy,
Okay, and what's the material?
hardy. Wood with the hardy panel.
No, but is there a canopy above the door?
Yes, above the.
Okay, you're building it in hardy board?
Yep.
Can we see that when you turn the next elevation? I don't see it.
Oh, here's the canopy,
Oh,
correct?
there.
Yeah, it was hard to tell on the first
Okay.
submittal.
Okay, good, noted. Let's go back to the,
Which elevation do you want to?
I don't know, let's just look at, it's right, the rendering that never does anybody any favors, so let's go down to right there, okay. This is current, even though that we have the revisions?
That's the back.
These are the revisions.
Okay, thank you.
So it looks like you added a window above the door then?
Yeah,
from the-
we did, yes.
So that satisfied item 3.
Mm-hmm. So it's all hardy board,
Yes,
and what's the math on that? Are we 51 on the masonry?
yeah, that should be.
We're 51%? Okay, great, or more, or greater.
Okay, so it also looks like you added brick then to the side rear elevations to satisfy item 1, which it does look a lot better than the initial renderings.
Yeah, I agree.
The one comment I would have, and I'll kind of just throw it out there for everybody, is the rear elevation
It's just
is a little flat. If you were to add right where the floor truss dash lines are, kind of just a band of hardy.
Hardy.
Yeah, just a smooth, like a trim band.
Oh, yeah.
It would kind of give it a little bit more. It would also give you something to attach
Sure, yeah,
a
of course.
canopy over the deck. If you wanted to do like a canvas awning or something,
Mhm.
you'd have something flush to attach it to.
Got it. Okay, sure.
It's west
Well, the-
exposure too.
Cool.
The only other comment is what I'd really like to see you do is expand the front stoop to the edge of the house. Expand the
all
front
the way
stoop
away.
to the edge.
To
of
the
the
right.
house.
Oh, I see, okay.
And the
okay.
reason is it's more of a practical thing. Everybody's
Oh, I
getting,
see,
everybody's
okay,
getting
okay.
You're gonna want
Amazon
that.
boxes,
Okay, okay.
and it's,
Yeah,
you're gonna be
that's-
happy
that's
about
more
it.
better, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a spec house, or is this are you building this for yourself, or are you?
In myself.
Oh, okay, excellent, okay.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and it'll be more balanced if you do it too, I think,
I
so.
think so
yeah.
too.
Sure, sure.
That's a good.
That's like a
point.
10 foot, you know, we're thinking about 8 foot, but 10 is
Yeah.
better now.
Give you a place to put your snow shovel and a bucket of salt.
Or a chair.
A chair,
or
a plant.
All right, go ahead, Joe.
All right, great,
Oh,
thank you.
God, again? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm a little mouthy today.
no, that's okay.
I move that a certificate of appropriateness be granted for case number 2025-022A at 7848 Kolmar Avenue, as represented, with the inclusion of a Hardy band on the rear elevation and an expanded front porch to the edge of the house.
Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed, so passed. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for getting your revisions done in advance.
Thank you.
Case number 2025-023A at 8530 Keystone, a first-floor addition.
The applicant is proposing to construct a first-floor addition at a detached residence. The 220-square-foot addition is located in the rear of the property. Overall, staff has no objections to the request, but some clarification is needed on materials. The new addition is next to a previous addition. Staff is supportive of the request if the materials on the new addition match the existing addition on site.
How are you, sir?
How about yourself?
Good.
So the last picture is the existing picture in the
Yeah.
rear yard facing what's the existing addition, and then the proposal is right there.
So it's kind of, it'll look like
All the way across.
the idea is to make it look like it's the same addition. And those materials will blend? Or are you gonna
Vinyl siding,
are you gonna redo the siding of the old one?
correct.
Okay, so it'll all be, the whole setback will be new?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Pretty simplistic. Anybody
Yeah.
have any comment one way or the other? Okay, cool. Or Shana or Jay, you wanna make a motion? Go ahead, Jay.
I make the motion that certificate of appropriateness to be granted in case number 2025-023A, 8530 Keystone Avenue, as presented.
Anybody second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed, so passed. All right, good luck.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Case 2025-024A at 3412 Touhy Avenue. It's a first-floor addition.
The applicant is proposing to construct a one-story addition that will expand the men's reception area of the existing banquet hall. Staff has no objections to the proposed elevations. The style and materials of the addition will match existing conditions.
Anybody here? Almost got it through a quick one. Okay, Brian.
It is what it
That's it?
is.
Existing photos?
Where is it? Yeah, they on the left.
That's the extent of the addition getting added on here, and
more
then it
about-
goes across.
It's more of it just making it look like the existing building, right?
And to open up the windows.
Right, and that. You're gonna obviously match existing materials. That'll look fine, right? Okay. Anybody?
I've got no comments or anything. I'll move to.
Sure.
That a certificate of appropriateness be granted for case number 2025-024A at 3412 Touhy Avenue as presented and as presented.
Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No opposed, so passed. Good luck.
Thank you, well.
You're welcome. Case 2024-055A, this is old business under residential at 50 Williamsburg Road. It's a revision to a previously approved first and second story addition. These are always interesting. How are
This-
you, sir? Good.
This case was previously heard at the December 11, 2024 Appearance Commission meeting and granted a certificate of appropriateness. The applicant is requesting a variance from the 51% minimum masonry requirement, section 22-63-53. The change includes removal of brick from a side elevation and an overall masonry coverage of 41%. Staff has no objections to the waiver request in this instance.
Give us a quick look.
So this was the summary page.
Yeah, it looks like straight to me.
discussion we had at the last time. I'm surprised you came back.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
thanks for having us again.
So this is the proposed site elevation where the changes are taking place here.
This is in Williamsburg?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can see it, right, so.
So we're going from what, approximately 51 down to
Yeah.
close to 39, 40%-ish?
And staff has no objections to this?
No, staff doesn't object to the request.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Okay. I'll make a motion that a certificate of appropriateness be granted in case 2024-055A at 50 Williamsburg Road as presented.
Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed, so pass. Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Sure. Thanks for coming in and doing that instead of having this be a different situation.
Instead of building it first?
Right. Case, now we're going into non-residential and mixed-use cases. Case 2023 this is an old one.
Yeah.
050A at 5202 Old Orchard Road. It's a revision to a previously approved building conversion.
This proposal was previously reviewed by the Appearance Commission at its December 2023 meeting and granted a certificate of appropriateness. The applicant is now requesting a modified review to approve changes to the previously approved elevations. The original submittals included seamless glass finishes at the building's corners. The proposed revisions instead feature an exposed, carved-out appearance with the material unlabeled but possibly concrete. Additionally, the residential entrances, originally shown with the architectural metal fins and an open ceiling extending up a full story, are now proposed as single-story entries with residential space located directly above on the second floor. There are also notable material changes on both the north and south towers, particularly regarding the top floor and balcony finishes. I did notice that.
So you guys are asking for the change. Why don't you walk us through your changes?
Sure, I'm not sure. My name is Alan Lev. I'm the chairman of Belgravia Group. Grew up in Skokie and went to Niles East High School, so I'm happy to be back here in town. I don't believe the characterization that they made is correct, but my architect is here and he'll walk you through it. I don't think we've made the changes that they're talking about. In any event, my company, Belgravia Group's been developing in the Chicagoland area for over 50 years. Bit of history here. This was originally under contract for a group that did the planned development. They never closed on the property. Another group named DIR did close on the property. They operate it right now. They are not residential developers or experts, so they brought us in as their partner. I've known the principal of DIR, Tony Rue, for 20, 30 years, so he brought us on. Sullivan Goulet Wilson is our architects, so they are here today also. You can go to the next slide. Keep going. Just to orient you, so.
It's the old Searle building, go on.
It's the old
Yep,
Searle building,
go on.
exactly.
I'd love to hear all the stuff. but
Okay.
Let's cut right to what
Cut right
it
to
was
it.
and what it is.
So all we believe we have done is we've kept the same number of balconies, but we've shifted them because the floor plate
I
that
noticed
was
that.
designed was not, in our view, really good. So we changed it, and it necessitated moving some of the balconies, but we have not reduced the number of balconies, we just
Okay.
shifted them around. You can keep going.
I
You can
noticed
keep
that
going,
on the
keep going,
picture.
keep going. You don't need to see this either.
Right.
Actually, it is kind of, it's
Boom.
really, it is kind of key because you made some really good improvements to the floor plans. They're much more consistent and it's going to be easier to lease.
Yeah.
It's going to be easier to build. The previous plans were all over the place and I was kind of curious how they were going
Yeah.
to implement
That's
that.
why-
Agreed.
That's why I've got my architects that I've used for 25 years or so working on it with us. But anyway, we think we've greatly improved it. The, again, this isn't an issue for the Appearance Committee. We're trying to slot ourselves in between this very expensive product that's coming into Skokie, something a little bit more affordable. So here's, the top elevation is the new elevation. The bottom was taken from the planned development. And Martin, why don't you just explain what the thought the process was here, and we have samples too, if you like.
Okay.
So as we mentioned, the balcony indications did shift slightly, but if you count them, they're the exact same number that we had. When you're taking an office building and trying to make it look residential, there's a few things you can do. Operable windows, balconies, we've added these vertical projecting blades. Trying to do everything we can to give it a little more residential character, and part of that was going with a white paint on the balcony as opposed to the red, which was shown on the PD, and we just think they'll pop a little more and read a little better. We also took those projecting elements that were horizontal on the original proposal. We were concerned about that. That can become like an ice shelf. Birds want to nest on that. So we took them and made a vertical to eliminate those concerns. And we also felt that those verticals made a nice counterpoint to what's a relatively horizontal building. So pretty minor.
So
Yeah.
we're keeping the existing curtain wall except for the places that we're cutting in the balconies and the places that we're adding in operable windows. You can go to the other elevations, same thing here, where we have this, you know, we're consistent on the number of balconies, we've just changed the location and the design slightly, and same with these elevations also. So we think we've, you know, in our humble opinion, we think we've improved what was originally designed, and I think we've done a better job at it.
Is the amenity deck staying the same on the garage?
I focused right now, because I've been at this a short time, on the north building. I'm still kind of in the midst of trying to figure that one out.
Okay,
I mean, so I don't know.
it's ambitious.
It is ambitious and maybe structurally problematic. So I'm in the midst of looking into what weight the caissons can hold and what kind of wind load of some of these things that were asked for. So obviously, if we decide that we are looking for any changes, I will be back in front of this group. But the interior demo is almost complete, and our goal is, should we be successful here in going to the board, is to set Martin and his group loose on permit drawings, get in for permit, and get going on this. Because it's been lingering for a while. So
Well,
we didn't-
I would agree that's an improvement over what was originally, so.
So, you know, we didn't change from a two-story thing to a one-story on the entrance here. No, we just-
No,
That's what it
No.
says.
we didn't swap in the glass so that there could be operable, but it's the same.
I'm just reading what
framework.
they
Yeah,
wrote.
yeah. Yeah, sometimes
Material
humans aren't
changes.
perfect, don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
that's okay.
I have nothing to offer. Joe, are you?
Yeah, just the existing landscape is really, really well taken care of. You're going to keep as much of that as you can.
Yeah, well, right now, we're going to, and the building is pretty much empty now, so we'll at least we'll have 125 residents, and they're in a big incentive to keep this landscaping looking in good shape.
Excellent, thank you.
As presented, I suppose. Arshana, you feel like,
Yeah. I make a motion, pass the certificate of appropriate, we granted for case number 2023-50A, located at 5202 at Old Orchard Road, as presented.
maybe second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right, so passed. Thank you very much.
Time,
Take care.
appreciate you.
So the final case, case number 2024-049A at 7852 Lincoln. It's the mixed-use building. This is their second appearance here. Hello. So before you start, at our last meeting, I believe, we gave you guys some homework to do, some things to try to appease the neighbors. I see there's still several neighbors here, but let's
I'll read
have
it.
you, hopefully you've briefed the neighbors on this stuff, but maybe you haven't. But let's go through what you've done.
Can I
Oh,
read it?
sorry, Julie, go
The
ahead.
applicant proposes constructing a new three-story building to serve as the future location of the Dharma Drum Mountain Buddhist Association's DDMBA Religious Assembly and Dormitory uses. The building will include a religious assembly space and 17 dormitory units. Located at the corner of Lincoln Avenue and Babb Avenue, the proposed structure will have a maximum height of 31 feet 8 inches to the top of the parapet, as shown in the exterior elevations. This project was approved by the Plan Commission at its February 20, 2025 meeting, and now requires review by Appearance Commission before proceeding to the Village Board. This case was previously heard at the April 9th Appearance Commission meeting, where the case was continued, and the commission requested changes to the building elevations and landscaping. Staff has no objections to the proposed elevations and notes that the building height is consistent with adjacent structures on Lincoln Avenue.
Thank you. All right, talk us through what
Yeah,
you've
before
done.
start, and to summarize what we have been focusing on this round, last time there's a request of showing the landscape plans within and around
They're pretty.
our buildings, and we've been doing that quite a lot. And then also there's residents have concerns about our facade being a little bit too harsh to the Lincoln Avenue and also the residential area. And we also put some work on it and start to improve it. And lastly, about the Michael, you have a question about the glass materials, and we have been requesting samples from two suppliers. And this time, I can when we get there, I can show you
Okay.
guys, the material
Awesome.
we're thinking about.
Thank you.
So, so this diagram is a sun path diagram showing the sun location within a year. As you can see, our building is at the north of the residential area, which the sun always move at the south, and
Right.
the shadow will never cast into the building. In a very, very extreme scenario, which is on the summer solstice, the sun will move a little bit to the north, and probably will cast shadow to the mixed use commercial and residential area, and a little bit on the corner residential. But it's 5 a.m.
Right.
and 6 a.m. and the sun will quickly move to the south, 6 or 7 a.m. So there will be
Appreciate that.
zero concern about
Yeah,
shadow.
that's a very helpful slide, and hopefully the neighbors appreciate that
Thank
slide
you.
as well.
Thank you. Yeah, and this we can go very quickly. It's just our internal study about the surroundings, and we kind of start to recognize which the facade behind our building are pretty solid, and they have a one of the building has the house have a fence in front of it, and the building next to us is have a pretty solid surface. So we just want to say it's a very pretty backup house area. Although we put some salts, already put some salts in softening the facade and edges towards the next. So regarding to the request of many of you, especially Joe, about the creating a garden, or especially a Zen garden, we put some our landscape designers have helped us putting trees and shrubs within our corner and around and at the side of our building. So near our building there will be a bunch of low shrubs that's sculptured, have a sculptural shape, and have a snowball flower on top. And at the focal point of the green space, there is a Japanese black pine. This rendering is just showing it's when it's at a young age. Obviously, it will grow a little bit larger.
Sure.
As times pass by. And at the corner, there will be a sign that's showing the name of the building. But it's still in progress. But
Yeah.
it's an intent.
Right.
Next slide is showing the entrance of the building and the shrubs, and kind of provide the vibrancy to the Babb Avenue, while also being pretty modern and serene, because there's not a lot of color, just the green and white in the spring and summer, and when it turns to fall or winter, it will have a little bit more color, like
Sure.
our burning bush will turn red, and the maple will turn red, etc. And our entrance will, as always, showing a pretty welcoming gesture to the Babb Avenue.
Okay.
So along the Lincoln Avenue, we replaced the crab apple to a more, to a taller ginkgo trees,
That's a good
per
idea.
the request last time. And this is probably a ginkgo tree in like 20 or 30 years. When it start to, like at this young age, it's probably like 20 feet or a little bit lower. So, but this one, this rendering is showing when it's
Yeah.
getting a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
And on the facade of the Lincoln Avenue, we added extra window.
That six,
on the
band of
left
6
side.
windows, yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
to soften the edges. And the next slide is at the corner of toward the residential area.
Uh-huh.
And as you can see, there's a maple tree on the corner.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, it just simply with improved material representation. I mean, it already shows our buildings is not that enclosed towards the residential area. And our clear story window on the second floor not only bring lights in, but also showing a pretty transparent relationship to the environment. Next, this is our window opening location. The first floor, you can see there we have a extensive like window openings with, of course, with shading towards the Babb Avenue, which is our main entrance, and some controlled glass surface towards the residential and Lincoln Avenue. And a second and third floor, because we have our main hall and residential units, and we want to bring more light in. And this is the overall landscape plan we already talked about along the Lincoln Avenue, ginkgo trees, and there's on the corner the Zen garden with a signage on the yeah, towards the street, and following on the south, there's a row of the shrubs and the small trees at the next to the building. Next, this is still work on it. It's a kind of a cornerstone or
Yeah, but it's subtle,
a
right?
sign that's it's not only showing the like street address and name of a building,
Yeah.
but also kind of an intent to break down the rhythm, like the rhythm of the precast panels, making it add some flavor to the
Yeah.
facade. And again, we are working on this, but we are about to put a sign that's closer to the entrance. I mean, as of now, it's about 4 square feet of
Yeah, it can't get any
signage.
smaller, I get it. You know,
Yeah.
It's like a headstone.
Yeah, yeah. Probably we will upsize it a little bit.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, it should be, yeah, it's a little small.
Yeah. So we have requested some samples from, this is a supplier from Germany, it's called Bentheim, and they supply.
do you say Bentheim?
Yes.
Yeah,
So this is
ain't
used in a
cheap.
lot of
I can tell you that.
premium projects.
Yeah.
And I mean, for anyone who doesn't know well about the channel glass, it's just a type of architectural
Right.
glass.
It doesn't render real well, but this is gonna look cool. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's probably, when you stand like right against the window, people will see your
Yeah,
silhouette.
yeah, you'll see that.
But if you like stand 2 feet away, and it's more like a shadow, and
Mm-hmm.
4 feet
Right.
away is probably
Yeah.
yeah, it will provide light, but as well as the privacy to the.
In both directions, privacy, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
so yeah, down on the lower right side corner, I believe that's the Nielsen Atkins museum expansion done by Stephen Hall, a famous, pretty well-known architect. And I've been there. It's been pretty amazing effect, especially at night when the lights turning on, and it's kind of like a glowing box.
yeah.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, it's just the material, like a general material
Yeah, it's
palettes
very,
of our
very soft.
building, like our chiseled concrete and like the terrazzo floor, etc. And together with the landscape. We hope it will bring some
Right.
some vibrancy and also as well as and also like just simply being a good neighbor to
Sure.
this community.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for this gentleman?
I don't, be careful what you talk about in my front Zen garden, it's essentially a suburban landscape. I was a little disappointed, but you checked the box. It's a row of U's and two arborvitaes.
Yeah, we're still working on it.
Yeah,
Pretty.
and I looked at it and I thought, okay, well, it's gonna evolve.
Yeah.
You're providing landscaping, that's what we asked for. The black pine is a nice touch. The red bud's a nice touch. I mean, those are the permanent things, so everything else kinda is gonna evolve, so that's why I was, just be careful when you talk about Zen gardens or contemplation gardens. It's not that. So it's landscape, and that's what we asked for.
Yeah.
So, because the building particularly at that elevation looks really good, and it kinda carries it anyway, so that's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Was there any comments from anybody else? Last meeting, we had several people who wanted to speak, but, yes, sir. Please come up. You can come, wherever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, hopefully you guys are all harmonious at this point.
I was here last time, and I looked at the package that they gave, and I don't feel that there's enough change to make the appearance of the building fit in with the character of the neighborhood. And even if even if the building lasts 60 years, the neighborhood, I don't think the houses on there are gonna change that much. And our biggest concern is the elevations and the ingress and the egress and the use by the people walking by and looking at it on Babb and the alley. Most of us are not gonna look at the elevation on Lincoln Avenue driving down fast. It'll look fine, it looks like just every other building. But I just don't feel that it really, fits in. It's such a big building on top of it for that one little quarter, and there's a lot going on there. It's beautiful. I wish I would like to see that in another location, but I don't think that it's changed enough to satisfy me at least.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. Was there somebody else? Beyond you, is there anybody, I just need to know what I'm dealing with. Okay.
I think we had sent some pictures for the case, so it makes sense what I'm talking about.
He should get one. If you're,
Yeah,
does he have one? The presenter? The applicant?
No. Well, we didn't get a
Give
copy
him
of
one.
it,
He
so
should-
anyway.
If he's, can't be all one-sided. Here you go, there you go.
So anyway, so one of the things I think that last time, Commissioner Joe had mentioned about not only that, but the appearance on the Lincoln Avenue side of the building, which is what biggest concern was. So obviously, what previous speaker said is the size of the building is a big issue. And what makes, a building or a house is appealing in the neighborhood is the street appeal, okay? So these are a couple of, first two slides, you see that current, it's even the next door building, Hanson Building, 2-story, okay? It's an eyesight level when you walk by, okay? If you look at all of the views around where this building is going up, it's a single story, but when you walk through, there is like a glass door, glass window type of scenario. Same thing, right across on this place, there's a bar. But again, there's a nice inviting door/window type of things on the Lincoln Avenue, which is the main thoroughfare for our street. So is that former dental lab. None of us had an issue with any of those when they were built or came to this commissioner for the same reason as that had the curb appeal, which is what brings the neighborhood up or down. This particular building we pointed out last time too. And again, a couple of other examples of the bank and the Hanson building, there are a couple of stories, so this is gonna be 3-story, much taller than anything else, what they are comparing versus the school right across. So when you look at the last thing, the Lincoln Avenue, the newer picture of that, they added a few windows, absolutely, but their own picture shows that it's well above the person's height. Can you put up that picture? Yeah, right there, see that? Bicyclist? It's not, doesn't look, again, when you're walking through, you're trying to make the downtown attractive, walkable, so where people wanna come. There is no street appeal on this. Okay, yes, they added windows, absolutely. But does it look appealing? It's a solid walls. When you walk by, okay, you don't see those things. It's just
Okay.
doesn't have a curb appeal.
Your point's taken, go on.
That's basically my point.
Okay.
Besides, it's a 13 or 14,000 square foot facility. Also, currently, the Henson building is far set from the front of the road. There is a quite a bit road, space, versus in here is practically close to street and the sidewalk. So it is a massive structure for the lot it is. And again, for the Lincoln Avenue, which is what we would like to see, an improvement, more appealing than the solid block of, things, and the windows that are well above. And it doesn't matter what you have on a second or third story, because you don't have a curb appeal. When you're driving by, walking by, look at right here in our downtown, we just all these restaurants and those things open up. Why? Because it looks appealing. You're walking through, you can see inside things happening, looks inviting, okay? So that's my concern, and I don't think so there are enough changes, or even, I still stand by that this is not the right place for this neighborhood. One of the
Well,
massive-
again, that's not our point, that's not our concern.
That's all, that was my
Right.
closing point,
Right.
is, again, it's still not a curb
Right,
appeal.
right. And after this case gets through this committee, you'll be able to say that again to the village board when it goes to them.
I absolutely understand
Sure.
that, and
Okay.
just wanted to make sure
Right.
that it still doesn't have a curb appeal. And I try to look for, it looks like it's a subjective assessment of this committee.
No,
But we're gonna be living with your decisions for the next 30 years.
I get
Okay,
that. I
so
get that.
that's it.
When I did see some of the photographs that you presented, I think beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, because if
Absolutely.
some of your images are saying it's currently aesthetic, and I look at some of this stuff, and I see a sign for a spa, and I see this and this, and I go, well, I guess I would argue with you that if you were
That's
gonna
fine.
do this again in front of the
Well, we
village
don't like
board,
it.
I would clean this up a little bit and maybe use different images.
These are Google images, these are not my
I'm
images.
aware of that, but you're presenting them to us,
And,
okay?
and, I don't have a
And when
fancy
I-
software like an
Right.
architect to show you something.
I know.
So this is basically to make a point
I
when I'm
get you,
talking
I
about.
get you. All right,
So again, your decision,
Thank you.
we have to live with it, okay? Thank
Mhm.
you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what this is.
I know, that's what it is.
Hello, how are you? I'm sorry.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good evening. My name is Lilia Kim. I live directly next to the proposed development. So from an appearance standpoint, this building is far too large and too tall for our neighborhood. Visually, that makes a big difference. The building will tower over the homes around it, including mine, and completely disrupt the streetscape. It still looks like a commercial and institutional facility. Not something designed to belong in a neighborhood of modest homes. This project.
Can I just, on that one point you just made, reread that one last line.
The last line?
Yeah,
So it still looks like a commercial or institutional facility.
just like the two buildings next to it, but go on, keep going.
Well, not necessarily. This
Well,
one
no,
is
no, no, no,
different.
no.
Okay.
There's going to be a commercial institutional building there. There will be. So you can say it looks like it. I'm not trying to be, I'm just trying to be blunt. It's going to be a commercial industrial property there.
But I don't think it fits into our neighborhood.
Well, I
You-
know
you
that's,
know, the
that's-
buildings
I
around-
get that. I
Uh-huh.
get that,
And the
I get
school
that
is-
that's your opinion.
Yeah, and the school looks nice across the street, but this one is just different. So this project needs to be substantially reduced in size and to fit in visually. That means revisiting the overall scale and bulk, not just adjusting the materials and finishes. So I urge you to recommend a smaller building footprint and lower massing, so it better reflects the surrounding architecture. I'm also deeply concerned about the appearance of the building's boundary along the alley and my home. Earlier this year, a truck exited their parking area and crashed into my fence. Right now, the design shows no meaningful visual or physical buffer between this large structure and my property. That's why I'm urging the Commission to require metal bollards, fencing, or dense landscaping. These aren't just safety measures, they're also important visual elements that define space and soften transition between buildings. Without them, the rear of the building feels harsh, exposed, and out of place. I'm confident that with some thoughtful revisions, this project can be a better fit for our neighborhood, and I hope the Commission will support this decision. A building this big with no meaningful buffering stands out in a harmful way. It needs to be visually scaled down and softened to protect the look and feel of our neighborhood. Also, architect showed the maple tree right there, and instead of maple tree, I would use some bushes because we already have a maple tree, and we have so many leaves in the fall in our yard. It's in surrounding area. It's just overwhelming to clean up. So thank you so much for your
Thank you.
consideration.
Thank you. Was there any other? Yes, sir. Okay. Beyond this person, is there any more? Thank you. Hi.
Hi, good evening, ma'am and sir. Yeah, my name is James Kim. Before I start, could you put the page 1116, please? The label as a window opening diagram.
I'm sorry, which page?
That's a 116. It's labeled as a window opening diagram. It's around there.
That
Yeah,
one.
here. Yeah, this question. I just want to be clear. I know the gentleman explained it clearly, but on the second floor, third floor, those are the place where the dormitory will exist.
The third floor or the second, or is it both? It
Both,
might be
both,
2 and
both,
3.
both.
Yep, in the upper
I'm
drawings.
I'm just wondering, those are around the new glasses they want to put, is it, are they transparent? Either
No,
they
he
can-
just,
They are not, right?
where are the samples? Right here.
From inside, you can see.
It's a
out.
translucent glass. It won't have any like view out. And plus, on the
Okay.
second floor,
Or in.
it's a clear story window that does not, no human will be able to see
Outside.
it from the second floor. But the residential units is further at the north, which is kind of, it's already mostly blocked by the massing on the south. So, I mean, the point is, it won't.
Yeah, those are the, yeah, so, I mean, I'm just wondering, those window, if they are transparent, then it will cause direct line of sight into my rear yard.
You won't be able to see through the glass. Show them the
That's why
glass
I
samples.
just want to clear that out, so I don't have to waste your time, because I had the.
Yeah,
comment.
no, did you say from the third floor?
Second and third floor, the north end is.
I get that. The building next door from the top floor, they'll have a direct view into somebody else's yard, the existing building, and the bank building, the same thing. I understand.
The south side,
Right,
yeah.
I get that.
Okay, I just want to have, I just want to know that if this glass is transparent?
It's
then it will-
translucent.
Translucent, okay. Hopefully it doesn't create the line, the sight into the rear yard, over neighboring home, you know, including mine, that this create a strong sense of exposure and make a space feel insecure and invasive for the resident that living directly behind the building, which is mine. That's more I'm concerned,
Sure.
you know. Even no one is actually standing in the window watching, just knowing that someone there could be looking down will make your yard feel much less secure and less private and not comfortable. just knowing that, you know, they can watch it, even though they don't watch it, you know. That's, because I'm right next to it, because every time you go out, I think about those things. I think it's, for us, it's important. Okay. Page 112, please. That's labeled as a building setback from street corner. That's, no, a little bit down, please. This is, yes, up, 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 up. One more, please. Sorry. Here you go. Stop. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna confuse on this rendering here. It says a building setback from street corner, so I just wrote it there so I don't forget. So it just shows. This one shows that building pushed back in order to provide the public open space. That's how it appears to be, but this is visually misleading when compared with the actual site plan. The footprint, it says the setback, but the footprint of the building hasn't changed. It's just because of rendering. They did the rendering carefully, such they angled or framed in a way that create the illusion of a deeper setback by adding the landscaping or open extra space in front, but it doesn't match with what's shown in the actual site plan, when in fact the structure still sit in the same position. But it appears to be all kind of a, you know, the building is pushed back, but that's not so. What I'm trying to say is I respectfully ask you, do not rely on just visual effect. That doesn't match with what they've been proposed. That's what I'm trying to ask on this page. Could you put the page 111 above it? That's I think 111. Sorry about that. I'm going backwards. Sorry. Okay, this is labeled as context building analysis. So here I wrote it down here so I don't forget. Comparing. Okay, so this one, they're comparing the proposed building with the surrounding structure. While I understand the goal to show the compatibility, this analysis downplay how out of place the new building will feel, especially from the rear and side. Even the existing current two-story office building, I'm referring to Hansen building that's showing over here. The Hansen building they're showing over there is currently exists. They're going through renovation right now. They're going crazy in the construction inside. Those buildings to that site feel always disconnected from the home around it in terms of character and scale. Now, we replace it with an even larger three-story structure will only magnify the disconnects. I ask the Commission to weigh not to what looks proportional in the drawing, but what feel appropriate to neighbor living directly behind on the site. That's all I'm asking on the page 111. I appreciate they did the work and to provide the compatibility, but that's how I look at it. Okay. Page 110. That's
How many more slides do we need to go to?
Just one more.
Thank you.
One more.
That's fine. Just wanted to.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm just want to give you your time.
Okay,
What
this is solar analysis.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, this is one, okay. I appreciate your effort, you know, to include the sunlight study. But I believe, I didn't use this tool. I believe it provides a limited and a potential misleading picture of actual impact, specifically the diagram to show only single snapshot in time, probably prior to today or from after the previous meeting we had. The diagram appeared to show only single snapshot in time, rather than providing range of conditions that reflect how sunlight and shadow behave throughout the day or month. The shadow line in diagram is static, does not show how the shadow has a length and it has a width vary over time. Just because it's still going in the morning, still right on the front yard there, and there's a line. The diagram also lacks the scale, make it unclear how far the shadow extends or how it interacts with a nearby home like mine. One more thing. Most importantly about this diagram is that diagram does not appear to reflect the actual mass of a proposed 3-story dormitory building, which is wider and taller than what the diagram suggests.
You're saying that this diagram is wrong and that the...
I'm not saying it's wrong, but it doesn't
You
reflect...
just said it. I'm just, read that again.
I say the diagram also lacks, making unclear. Okay, most importantly, diagram does not appear to reflect the actual massing of the proposed 3-story dormitory.
Yeah, you're saying
which is
you're
why-
saying that this is wrong. Is that, you're saying that the massing is wrong on
It
this?
doesn't, it's a misrepresenting.
So you're saying, you're saying that this is wrong. Am I wrong? Am I making, am I?
No, sir.
Commissioners, let me ask you, am I wrong in asking?
misleading. It doesn't represent the shadow. I mean, shadow is not, is a one line. It's got a width.
Here, all
it's
right,
got a
here's what I'm gonna
length.
tell you about the shadows, okay? 6 meetings a year, we have a neighbor who comes in and goes, you can't let this person do this, the sun's gonna be out. And we go, I'm sorry, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're entitled to do it, okay? So let's not even talk about the shadow. I appreciate that they did what they did.
Yeah, I really
To show us that,
appreciate
to
it.
show
Oh,
us
yeah.
that,
Yes, sir.
to
Yeah.
show us that the shadow was very minimal in situation, and
Yeah.
that the sun really doesn't go that far north of this building, so that you're impacted very slightly. So let's just move on past the shadow conversation, is my suggestion. If you want to
Thank
proceed,
you.
if you want to finish your paragraph, go ahead.
That's the last paragraph.
Okay.
That's it. I just have a final word.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
sir. It's just to
Sure.
make the tense. So finally, I had to write down, so I don't have to mumble.
I understand.
Finally, while I understand that the commissions is not tasked with reviewing buildings use or operation of dormitory, I believe the building's function is still relevant to the appearance. The scale, massing, institutional design clearly reflect that it is an intent to house a multiple resident in a way very different from the surrounding single-family homes. The function shapes how the building looks, from its long wall and window pattern to the solid rear facade and parking layout. The design reflects a high occupancy, high intensity, and it carries a visual weight that doesn't belong to a block like a Babb Avenue. Thank you for your time, for listening to concern from those of us directly affected.
Great. Thank you very much, sir.
I just want to clear
Yes,
one thing.
sure.
So, thank you for your comments. But what we so every responding to one of your questions, I just want to clarify all of our drawings, including the renderings, are in sync. They're not like one drawing as a putting
The scale's
intentionally
consistent, the
different
scale is
proportions and
consistent with
different
everyone. Okay.
Locations within the site, and we just want to show as objective as possible and just providing analysis that's showing its impact on at the environment.
Okay, when I look at the, I reviewed your rendering and the actual site plan, the building is way out. But from the rendering.
You got to come up to the podium, sir, because we can't have this, if you're
making a comment, it has to be in the.
come on up to the microphone.
Actually, just a second. There's a page 112 comparing to the site plan. I brought the site plan, but site plan, building setback from the title of the rendering is a building setback from the street. And you're looking at the rendering, You see the fence over here, you see the residential fence, over, I thought you put, even the rendering with some steel. So,
I
Go
think.
go ahead, Joe,
I
start some
think it's
questions.
best to, if we've got a two-dimension elevation in the site plan, if you can pull that up.
Yeah.
There's always distortion with SketchUp.
Sir,
and,
sir,
there's
we're done.
There's always distortion with SketchUp drawings and computer
Okay.
drawings. So what I'm asking is to pull up the site plan, and so we can refer to that rather than the computer-generated rendering, because those are always a little bit off.
Yeah,
And They're
yeah.
just, there's no
Okay.
way to get it
thank you
proper.
very much for your comment.
I'm sorry, Brian.
But
you
it was
just had
too much way off,
You
that's
just
why.
had it. So what's happening here on this lot is that Babb Avenue and Lincoln's on an angle.
Yeah,
It's a little bit of a trapezoid. So what they've done is they've created an expanded sidewalk plaza at the front corner, as you can see. So it's not squared off, but they're squaring it off. So that's where I think the illusion, the optical illusion from the 3D rendering is coming from.
mhm.
So you're reading the site plan and the SketchUp or computer drawing. It's just, as you can see here, the site plan, it meets the setbacks. I do have a couple of questions for the applicant, just to clarify some things for the neighbors, because I think they're important. I think we're done. I just wanted to, since
Thank
there was just too much noise going on with that, and we don't like it when there's arguments and kind of conversations that we're not a part of. So we're done. But I do have a couple of questions
Sure.
regarding a couple of the comments that this gentleman just made. The dormitory portion of the building, one of the things that struck me about this, this is a perfect diagram. So if you look at the second and third floor of the dormitories, which are facing Lincoln Avenue, if those parking spaces are 18 feet or say 20 feet, it looks to, are the dormitories 80 feet from the back property line then? Approximately, it seems?
Yeah.
So you've provided a separation from the visitor rooms to the rear elevation of 80 feet. Now typically, a typical rear yard in a neighborhood is 125 feet depth. There's a 25-foot front setback, usually a 50-foot house. So there's usually a minimum of 30 feet in a typical rear yard. So they're going 80 feet with the guest rooms to the edge of the alley. So from a site planning point of view.
Sorry, the parking 18 feet, but on the
I'm
north and
using
south
that
side.
I'm using that as a scale.
Yeah.
I'm just, since that's 20 feet, if you take that 20 feet and you bring it up to the second and third floor, it's approximately, it could be 60 to 80 feet, let's say. That's over and above, and I was kind of struck by the fact that you put the guest rooms along Lincoln Avenue as opposed to putting them at the rear. So that actually is benefiting it's actually benefiting the neighborhood because they could have been at the back. That's also the tall part of the building, and they're not asking for any height variations from.
They're within their
Oh.
allotted.
They're
Correct.
10 feet.
Yeah,
Being,
so-
this is a mixed-use district now, so, correct.
And so the tallest part of the building is along Lincoln Avenue, and then the conference room or whatever that is on the second floor, that's a little bit lower from the renderings. It looks like it steps down to the alley. So what they've done here is actually been really respectful, I think, more so than an applicant that could come in under the zoning. So it's one of these things where you may not like the architecture, but architecture, it's like art. Some people don't like public art simply because it's not what they would pick. Context. You added the windows. I'm really glad you did that. I'm glad you added the ginkgos for a canopy along Lincoln Avenue. I think that's really going to help. One thing that's not mentioned here is that as far as context goes, you got a 1970s office building, the Hanson building. Personally, I don't think that's architecturally very nice.
Pleasing.
But again, that's architecture and it's like public art. Second of all, What nobody's mentioned is that the insurance office across the street is it's kind of a mishmash of all kinds of things going on. And then there's, what's nobody mentioned at all is the auto body place across the kitty corner from this. So it's like Bill's Auto or something like that, I forget
Right.
what it is.
Right.
So from a context, I, you know, other than doing some kind of, like what, you know, some kind of ornamental architecture like the bank did, you know, I think what they've done here is really a nice job with step backs, glass that's illuminated versus transparent. You know, the landscape, whatever, I think that always evolves, and the landscape industry butchers everything anyways. I think they checked all the boxes here.
Thanks, Joe. I don't know, Julie, did you have any comments, one way or the other?
I do
Or-
like the improvements,
or
but
Arshana.
I still think it's very large for the area. That's my opinion, so.
Jay, do you have anything to add, or Arshana?
Can I comment one thing, sir?
I think
Just one quick
architecture,
comment.
Then you cannot do it from back there, sir,
No,
come on.
I don't know, I just was asking
Sure.
permission to come up.
Okay.
I think one thing Commissioner Joe mentioned about the height variance, actually, they do have asked for height variance with the
Well,
building commissioner.
they're,
That's not what I'm hearing.
they're allowed to request this height under
Right.
the site plan approval.
So, right, previous committee, they did ask for it, that's all I wanted to correct it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's pretty big.
I'm sorry, Jay.
for architecture, I'm thinking that it is okay.
Okay. Arshana, did you have any comments?
I think I like it.
I mean, and I said this, I think, at the last meeting, is that after doing this for many years, and you have incidences such as the synagogue on Crawford and a little bit north of Church, you know, and that's blended in a residential area. And many neighbors thought that wasn't allowed. It's totally allowed. The structure is allowed. I actually like it. Although it's not in my neighborhood, but it's entitled to be in a neighborhood. To me, it kind of is reminiscent of the library right outside right outside this meeting when you leave here. I personally don't have a problem with it. It's within the what they're allowed to do, and I don't find it aesthetically unpleasing. So from my opinion, that's where I'm coming from. Julianne, I respect what you say. You think it's a little high, but don't forget that's,
It could be worse.
well, yeah, I know. And like I said, sometimes
That's true.
people aren't happy about it, but it's, again, this rendering isn't really fair. It's higher it's higher on the north building than it is on the south building. That's what
Right.
the point Joe was bringing
Right,
up.
I agree with that.
So, and it could have been inverted. It could have been higher on the neighborhood side and short and lower on the Lincoln side, so that they did make accommodations toward the neighborhood, I believe was your intent. So, that's my opinion. So I feel, in my opinion, that it's worthy of a motion, and we can see where the vote goes. And then if the concerned neighbors are not pleased with how this vote goes, and it does pass, you've got one more method of appealing your case or getting your case heard with the village board when it goes in front of them, which would be whatever,
Yeah,
July,
if-
August, whatever.
Correct. If this were to be approved, the planning division would have the specific dates, once they're set by the manager's office.
So, well, whatever, so,
July?
they can ask you about that later, but,
Correct.
okay. So, that's my opinion. So everybody's kind of rendered their opinion and asked their questions. I don't know if somebody wants to put a motion forth.
I can attempt.
Go ahead, give it a try.
All right, I move that a certificate of appropriateness be granted to, I'm all over the place here. This is Lincoln Avenue, 2024-049A. at 7852 Lincoln Avenue. As presented, you had mentioned something about the small sign at the front corner is evolving
Yeah, still working on
with the stipulation that that sign be
Approved by the staff.
yeah, approved by staff. I would encourage you to incorporate into your little water panel there. I think it might be to something contemporary and not a trip hazard, but that's a side note.
Thank you.
That's the.
But still be understated,
Yeah.
which I think was what your goal was.
Second.
Okay, Jay seconds. Anybody, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed?
Nay.
One opposed. Okay, so it's passed. Thank you very much. And then fellow citizens, please feel free to come to the village board meeting when that date gets published.
Yeah, correct. The planning division, again, would have the specific date once it's assigned.
But how would they get notified?
I would be in contact with our staff, Jose, one of our planners.
Okay, great. All right, thank you all very much. I appreciate all the citizens' opinions and what they had to say, and I think the petitioner appreciates them as well. So, that said, at 8:45, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.